Hey, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Evan.
All topics presented in this podcast are highly likely to contain spoilers.
We tell you this as a courtesy to you, the listener, so that we may not ruin any movies or shows for you.
Thank you for listening.
This has been your spoiler warning.
Well, welcome to Your In Depth. Today we're going to be covering Chapter 4 of The Mandalorian. We do have some Star Wars news to cover first, but yeah. Evan, you got anything new with you? Not necessarily just Star Wars, just checking in with you, you know?
Oh, I'm just chilling.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just chilling?
But
Yep, there's a blooper.
That's a given. Like, come on now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you know. All right, yeah, I'm going to jot that one down. That's a blooper. Yeah,
Oh.
a whole, you know what, less than a minute into the episode. Wonderful. I'm going to block it out, but I'm going to keep it in to where, like you can kind of like, you can tell something was said. But either way, all right. Well, anyway, so yeah, the first bit of Star Wars news that's somewhat recent, I just saw a timeline of kind of different projects that are upcoming for Star Wars, and if they have dates attached to them at this point, it listed those out. So, we got a bunch of them coming out. You got obviously Mandalorian Season 3, you got the new Kenobi series, there's a new one called Andor, talking about, or covering, I think, Cassian Andor from Rogue One and his character maybe, but Boba Fett, Visions. I don't even know what Visions is. I thought it was something like Star Wars reimagined for something. I don't even know. But there's just a bunch of them. But the only ones with dates attached as of right now are The Bad Batch, which is in production and is supposed to release this year. Visions, which is also in production, same year, this year. And Boba Fett, that series, the Book of Boba Fett, the status is it is filming, and it is going to release December of this year, which we did hear about, and that was confirmed in the end of Season 2 of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then the Kenobi series is in pre-production, and that's supposed to be released sometime in 2022. And then the only other thing that we have a date on that is oddly specific for as far out as it is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I guess it's in development, and the release is reported to be December 22nd, 2023. So that's just kind of a layout of what we have coming, at least what the dates have been reported as of now. The other thing is that the first issue or book of the High Republic recently came out. Now, Evan, you didn't read that, did you?
The book itself, no.
Okay. But with that, we do get an introduction to some of the new characters and some of the new Jedi. So, Evan, do you have that page pulled up?
Yeah, so just pull up my computer. But the name of the book for anybody that wants to read it is it's Star Wars: The High Republic, Light of the Jedi.
Okay, yeah.
For anybody that would want to check that out and read it. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So there's that, and if you would like to maybe read the first character there, that
Avar Kriss.
Yeah, Avar Kriss.
So Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She is invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration for those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Kriss is the best of the best.
So that's the first one. Just looks like kind of like a what's that person's shoot, I can't, the current Doctor Who actress.
I don't
It
know.
looks like her with a big hood on. It's like Jodie Whitaker,
So
maybe? I don't know,
the
but anyway.
Frontier, though, a lot of people might not know
Frontier?
for this time frame. She says she is invigorated about life on the Frontier. That's basically like during the Skywalker series. It's like the Outer Rim, so like Tatooine and Camino and Geonosis, and like all those planets on the Outer Rim is in the time frame of the High Republic, the Frontier. So.
Okay. I didn't know that, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so once again, I was describing that other chick. The first one. She looks like, she definitely looks like Jodie Whittaker, who is the current doctor. She's just like this middle-aged, blonde lady. Kind of looks, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, hooded, wise. I don't know, whatever. And then we got basically, what are these kinds of with the tails on their heads?
Twi'leks.
What kind of people are those? Oh, Twi'lek.
It says right there in the description.
Yeah, shut up. I haven't read it yet. Anyway. Okay, so we get another one. He just got pretty well a hard resting face. But he's Loden Greatstorm. So let me see. So Loden is a Twi'lek Jedi Master and is considered to be one of the best teachers in the Jedi Order. Strong and wise with a good sense of humor. Loden looks at every moment as a learning experience, always trying to better himself and those around him, especially his Padawans.
Time out.
So that's the second one, and then we've got...
Time
I think
out.
we've got
Hold
4
on.
total, but go ahead. Evan.
I just know I'm not going to like this character.
Do I need to make a note?
No, you don't.
Are you talking about the one I just read or the next one?
The one you just read.
Oh, okay. Well, you see, because the next one is...
And the reason I'm not going to like this character
Yeah, never mind.
is because
why?
characters or people that always try and use every moment as a learning experience just piss me off.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like, it's just so annoying. And I just have a feeling that's what this character is going to be.
Potentially, yeah.
And so I just have a good feeling that it's going to piss me off.
Yeah. Overall, I don't like how he looks either. I really don't.
Yeah, he looks like, I'm trying to think where I've seen that face before. Looks like some sort of stupid, dumb lizard person.
I mean, it's pretty well what he is. Look at him.
Just missing
yeah,
the scales.
Pretty much. Anyway. You've got the third one. Next one.
Yeah,
Keeve.
Keeve
Trennis.
Trennis. Keeve is a young firebrand Jedi, believed to have a great future ahead of her, if only she would believe it herself. Quick-witted and impulsive, and more impulsive than she should be, Keeve has only been a Jedi Knight for a few weeks, and is a little starstruck about Avar. Or around Avar, sorry, I can't read.
It's okay.
Knowing many of the great things Chris has done in the past. Avar Chris. Okay, that's right. See, they went with Avar for the first name, but then they said Chris afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just pick one. Holy crap. Anyways, she is determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed on Starlight Beacon, but first she must learn to trust in herself as much as she trusts the Force. Okay.
Yeah.
If she doesn't trust in herself, why the is she a Jedi Knight? Like, who just, like, if she doesn't believe in herself, why did she pass the trials? Why did they allow her to be a Jedi Knight if she's not confident in her own abilities?
I don't know, man.
Like, come on.
Somebody commented on this one and says Mace's mother. So I think he's
timeline
an idiot.
does not line up with that, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Because by the time Mace Windu was born, this chick is like 200 years old.
Yeah, well, all right.
Or if she's just become a Jedi Knight, she's like 220, 230 years old. Which, if she's a human, she's freaking dead by then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, now the last one. Wait, actually, is this the last one? Oh no, there's 5. Okay.
Oh shoot! I
Okay, so number 4, Stellan Gios or Gaios. I don't know.
Gios?
However they'll pronounce it, but he looks basically like youth pastor John Wick, right? But anyway, Stellan is an optimistic and well-respected Jedi Master. Stellan came up through the Order with Avar Kriss, and although they are often on different assignments for the Jedi or the Republic, when the two work together, they are a powerhouse team of two noble heroes in action. Strong in the Force and a natural teacher, Stellan is currently stationed at one of the Jedi Temple outposts on the distant planet of Karagan Viner.
So when I first saw his image, I kind of got like an Obi-Wan feeling from it.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's kind of what they're going for.
I don't know. I kind of, overall, that look, just kind of like, I feel like I'm going to like that character.
Let's be honest, though. You're never going to make someone as sassy and funny as Obi-Wan. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, in no way. Like, he's just witty and not
Obi-Wan
to mention
is the
just
sass
sexy.
master.
Oh, yeah. Plus, he's just super hot, you know? But anyway,
I didn't want to get too excited here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So the next one is Vernistra Vern Rahau.
Rasputin, Russia's greatest love my sorry, go ahead.
Raho. Anyways, Vern is a newly minted Jedi Knight. Vernitress Mirialan. Who is that? What?
Mirialan?
Whatever. This chick was Padawan to Stellan Gios. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order, more so than most others her age. At 16, she is one of the youngest Jedi Knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with the adult Jedi, or with the adults, while also setting a good example for the younger Jedi. So does she struggle to set an example for younger Jedi? Or does she set a good example for younger Jedi? I feel like we need clarification.
I think it says she struggles to fit in with the adults while also setting a good example for a younger Jedi. So, like, maybe both are a struggle.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll learn more about her as things continue to come out and as this new era of canon kind of just goes along.
One of the comments for her, though, that I'm seeing is it's a GIF with Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, "Oh, I have a bad feeling about this."
I do see that. But anyway, so we are going to do Chapter 4 of The Mandalorian, and I don't have notes for this because I wanted to try a new way of doing it. So Evan usually follows along in the episode and just points it out as we go, and I just figured I'd try that too. We'll see, if you're a frequent listener and you have a preference, let us know. You can email us at yourinDepth@gmail.com or just, join the Discord. I don't know, some way of getting a hold of us. But
before we start this, I just want to point out that I found a Star Wars Mandalorian Lego set online.
Ooh.
So I want it.
Reasonably. Is it like a scene or is it the Razor Crest?
No, it's got Mando and it's got a Tusken Raider.
Okay.
And it looks like it's from one of the scenes in the second season. So I'm not going to clarify anything on that because for those that might not have seen the second season yet.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, guess I am ready. If you are. I wish there was a way to link our players here, but kind of like a watch party type thing, but
yeah. Well, I mean, mine started out with the very beginning where we see all the blue little shrimp things. So
blue little shrimp things.
Yeah. So like I accidentally skipped.
Yes. Nope. I know exactly where you're at.
Previously on thing.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're at. You're good.
But the episode starts out with us, like I said, seeing these little like shrimp things being collected up in wicker baskets by some village folk.
Yeah.
And they're just, we see some, it's just like a little, I don't even want to call it a fishing village because they're not even fishing.
Right. I mean, it's a little like a shrimp farm type thing. It looks definitely like a, I mean, you would kind of get like the vibe of like one of those pictures of like a Native American kind of, like a village, where it's like they're all doing one thing or another. They're all working together. They all got a task. There's a good amount of them sifting through, like these little ponds that they have and pulling out these blue shrimp. So yeah, I mean
we see a little girl chasing a frog, and there's a kid playing with a wicker ball, like a little wicker soccer ball.
Yeah. So they got forms of entertainment, and yeah, so they're all just now I don't know. See, yeah, I think it's good to walk through the episode, and stuff. I just also feel like I'm hoping to. Oh, I just now noticed this with this one. I'm pausing it. So I don't even know where that previous sentence was going. But this one, that frog. Did you notice? You noticed it only had one eye?
I did not.
I believe it did, at least. I
did not notice that.
Back up a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it only. I don't know. It looks different. So my point with it is that we see a little bit more, wildlife, right?
Yeah.
I always enjoy that.
But I mean, it's only a frog, so it's not like it's like anything new.
I don't care, dude. Anything little that is new, it's really cool to me. And I guess in that sense, I didn't even mention the blue shrimp, but whatever. You know what? Let's just move along.
But anyways, the little girl goes to, like, catch the frog, and then some of the villagers notice like a flock of birds like getting startled. And like instantly they know that, as we see in the episode, that like they're about to get raided.
Yeah.
And so they all start freaking out, and then we get some blasts coming into the village, and they're all running away while the little girl's mom's trying to get over to her to to save her little dumb kid.
Yeah.
And they just go jump in there with the little shrimpy boys and hide under a wicker basket while we see these raiders come running in. And these raiders just remind me of like almost like orcs from Lord of the Rings. If anybody's for those that have seen those movies, they just kind of give me almost like a mix between orcs and the weird pig dudes from that we see like at Jabba the Hutt's palace.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe from it too. It does look like that. Needless to say, I guess by that description, they're very ugly.
Oh, hot as.
Oh yeah, totally. No, I'm I was misspoken there.
But anyway, so their raid is very quick, and we see them run in, grab some baskets, and just run off.
Yeah, and they destroyed a lot of stuff. I don't know if their main intent is to terrorize these people or to destroy their stuff. They didn't kill anybody. They did pretty well just wreck a droid.
Yeah.
But
I would say honestly, it seems like their raid is simply for supplies, while also instilling some fear to make sure that like the villagers don't try and fight back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is kind of the feel that is the type of raid. That's what type it looks like, because as you said, we don't see them actually kill anybody in this raid, which I'm sure if they've clearly done previous raids, and I'm sure they've killed some villagers in previous raids. But we just don't see that in this raid that they did. Yeah. Because I mean, if it was more of a raid just to like kill the villagers, it wouldn't have been over that fast. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have just grabbed some baskets and left. So it's definitely not just a raid to wipe out the village.
Right. It's not meant to actually like necessarily harm them. It is probably, as you kind of mentioned, is to instill fear. And instill fear while gathering their own supplies. Yeah.
Kind of like Viking raids back in the day, minus the slaughtering the whole village. Because, I mean, when Vikings raided, way back when, their main purpose for raiding was not just to kill people, it was for supplies. That's how Vikings got their food and, stuff and I guess extra material for if they needed to repair a ship. They'd go and raid a village, camp out in the village while they gathered like wood or whatever they needed, or if they need silk for new sails.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the feel of that raid. It's more so just for supplies, while, like I said, also instilling fear to make sure they don't get any resistance from the villagers in the future.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, no, you're right on that. I agree. With then moving along, we do get that title screen, just saying the Mandalorian or whatever, and then we see the Razor Crest flying, and then it enters the inside. We're at about 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and we see the child messing around with some buttons on the dashboard of the Razor Crest.
Yeah, just flips random switches or hits buttons.
He's just poking stuff. And then
Mando tells him to stop it, and he just looks at Mando while slowly reaching over and flipping a switch.
Yeah, he flips on another switch and the whole ship shakes.
I just get the feeling that Mando's just super annoyed with this child at this point. Like, damn, kid, not messing with my stuff, you little bastard.
Yeah. He calls him a little womp rat, which I think is kind of funny.
But then he does find the planet. I'm trying to catch the name. Sorgan. He sees a planet on his little navigational chart, and mentions that there's no starport industrial center, not very populated. And obviously after the last episode, we know they're trying to lay low for a while, to get the heat off of them.
Yeah.
And so this would be a good place for them to go with no, like I said, no, like he says, no spaceport. So there's not hardly any traffic coming through here. There's not people stopping here to resupply. There's not people coming here for, let's say, to get bounties or any of that type of stuff. So, the odds of someone actually coming out here hunting for them is pretty low. It's not a very well-known planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, we see the Razor Crest come into atmosphere, and it actually flies over the village that we saw in the opening scene. And just lands way out in the boons. I'm just picturing banjo playing in the background.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's like maybe a didgeridoo or something. Just. But no, I think it's funny because didn't he say he told the child, he's like, stay here or whatever, and he's like, you understand? And tells him to stay put, and then you see him opening up the big hatch on his ship, and as it opens, you see the child standing at his feet, just like, huh? I think it's pretty funny, but anyway,
that kid moves pretty quick when he wants to. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so like you said, we just see the child at his feet, and he's just like, gosh dang it.
Yeah. Then they're just walking through the forest now.
And I just have to say, I think it's adorable when the child goes to walk, 'cause he's just waddling. He's so cute.
Yeah. I will say I don't like how much they kind of make him out to be like a super baby. They use baby sounds and kind of they play his adorableness a little too much, I think. But I still love the character.
Well, I mean, it is a Yoda race, right? And so, like we've said before, Yoda's race age very differently compared to most other races in the show or in the universe here. Galaxy, place, galaxy. That's what I mean. That. And so, yeah, we know he's 50 years old, but that's just 50 years of human years,
Right, yeah.
For his race, it's a year, maybe.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, no, his maturation and development process is definitely
because as we know, longer. Yoda dies just shy of 1,000 years old. So, but anyways, we see now that I guess like a tavern bar. It's more of a tavern, really.
Yeah,
because there's alcohol being served, but it's also meals being served as well, and there's people like chit chatting and whatnot, sitting at tables. It's not really like for those that are old enough to go to bars, you know what I mean. But like in a bar, it's typically just drinks, and they might have some like Jack's pizzas that you could throw in an oven if someone really wanted something to eat. But it's typically just like alcohol at a bar, or they might have like a little bowl of peanuts, Whereas, a tavern, like I said, they have meals that they serve. They usually have like rooms for people to sleep, where they can rent rooms out. They have tables set out everywhere for people to socialize. They still serve alcohol. This is obviously what that is. And we do get to see another creature that, unless you've seen Star Wars Rebels, this is the first time you get to see it. It's weird, like, cat-looking thing.
Yeah, thing's ugly.
And I can't for the life of me remember what they're called.
Well, I certainly don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called, but we first get introduced to them, if I'm not mistaken, in Star Wars Rebels. Is when you first see them. But yeah, it's like a weird cat-looking thing.
Yeah, gross. Anyway, so the woman that is working in the diner and stuff, she walks up and asks them if she can get him any porridge or anything, and I think Mando maybe he notices somebody because he asks.
Yeah, so he noticed a lady sitting over in
right.
one of the corners.
Yeah,
kind of like eyeballing them. And so as she's offering the waitress like offering like a bowl of porridge for him and whatnot, after she asked that, Mando is kind of asking her about the lady in the corner. And I think it's kind of funny here, though, because typically in a tavern, you would pay a waitress or the barkeep a little extra money for some information, right? So, like, for people that have played, like, Skyrim or some of the Fallout games, you'd pay, I think in Skyrim, you pay, like, 50 gold for, like, if you're
kinda
trying to find like a mission in the area,
maybe stuff like that.
Yeah, and so like in shows and whatnot, they would pay like tavern keepers and whatnot or waitresses for information of the local area, if there's any jobs that people are looking for help with. And so like they're typically very knowledgeable about like what's going on in the area, and this lady just seems completely oblivious, which is typically how they would start out. Kind of like hinting at like, hey, you have to pay for the information. So that's the feel that he gets. And he gives her some money. And she just like, oh, well, thank you. And he's expecting to get information here.
Yeah, but she still doesn't know anything, right?
Yeah, whereas she actually doesn't know. He thinks she's just waiting for him to pay her so she gives him the information.
Yeah.
But after the waitress leaves, he looks back over and the lady is gone.
Right.
And so he kind of freaks out because obviously, he's kind of wary, about, people hunting him because of, the events of the last episode.
Right, yeah.
And so he goes out looking for her and tells the waitress to keep an eye on the kid.
Yeah, and we see a bit more of his technology here. As he's looking down, he can see where, like, he was able to see footprints.
Yeah.
And
I think it was it last episode or 2 episodes ago where that old chess piece he had got damaged and he had to get it replaced, but on the inside we saw a bunch of wires and whatnot.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it was the the last episode, but it was a previous episode.
Yeah, it was either episode 2 or 3. I don't remember which. But, you know, we got to see, like, the inside part of his chest armor, which just shows we saw a bunch of wires and whatnot, just showing that he has a lot of technology built into his armor.
Yeah. And then, but he goes out and she kind of, like, surprise attacks him.
Yeah, because he loses her trail, because it, like, goes one point and then there's no more footsteps. That, like, his visor's picking up. And, you know, they have a little bit of a hand-to-hand combat, a little do-si-do, as it were.
Yeah, they're fighting. They're punching each other in the face. She's punching his Beskar helmet and somehow keeping her hand intact.
I was going to say, like, how is her hand not broken?
Oh, I know. Reasonably, I mean, I think back to the Clone Wars movie, right? Remember when the dude runs up, the clone does, and he punches the droid, and he's just like, ah! And then he gets shot? Yeah. Like, how is she not like that? But
well, we get to see him attempt to use his flamethrower on his wrist.
Yeah,
and so she just like
what he's got.
Easily counters.
Yeah, which actually I think we already saw his flamethrower.
Then it gets to the end of the fight, and they're both pointing blasters at each other's heads. But let's be honest, like her blaster's not penetrating his Beskar.
Oh no, honest. There's no way. Like, yeah, no, there's no way.
But then, like, they both look over and see the child just sipping some porridge, just staring at them.
Yeah, he's just watching them. Just sipping. Just watching.
And then man was just like, you want some soup? What?
Yeah.
But then we kind of get formally introduced to this character, and we...
right.
We learned that she was a shock trooper with the rebels, and after the fall of the Empire, you know, she was sent out on missions to track down ex-Imperial officers and like high-value targets. You know, she explains that after that, they were basically just used as peacekeepers, which she was not about, so she left. She didn't like just basically being a cop.
Wait, she was ex. What is she?
So she was a shock trooper for the rebels.
For the rebels, they
yes.
had shock troopers.
Yeah, so basically she was like the elite, one of the elite troopers or like special forces guys in the Rebel Alliance.
Okay.
But she ended up leaving because she was like, "Yeah, I'm not a police officer. I have really good set of skills. I'm not gonna have them being wasted, you know, tracking down petty criminals." And like, it's just like I would assume in her eyes, it's just like an insult to you know, her skill base to be used as just a more or less a police officer would be my guess.
Yeah. Anyway, though, so she finishes up the soup and like goes to walk away. Actually, I think she just does walk away.
Well, she explains too that like she took him for a bounty hunter, which is understandable because Mandalorians in this time period are almost always, you know, bounty hunters. And so she figured he had a tracking fob on her, like, you know, someone had set a bounty for her. Because she's hiding here, too, on this planet.
Yeah.
And that's why she, you know, tried to, like, ambushed him, and that's why they got into that fight. And as she goes to leave, you know, she says, unless you want to have another bout, or, you know, want to go another round of fisticuffs, you know, go ahead and get out of here. I was here first, you know. And I would say... It's because she's talking about the planet, not like the area on the planet. She's like, leave the planet. Because she was here first. And so it's just kind of like, I think we talked about it before. People in this time frame are beings in Star Wars view planets almost like sections of a city or like sections of a state. They don't really see a planet as a planet in terms of space. And so she's like, this is my planet where I'm hiding, so go hide on a different planet. Almost like, hey, I'm hiding in this area of town, you go hide somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Mando starts heading back to his ship with the child.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
and then we go back and we see those some of those villagers, some of those village people. They are kind of, I want to say, I mean, they're in a boat. They're just kind of on the river. They're just going along, and they come across the Razor Crest.
Little hoverboat with a droid.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I just skipped ahead. Hey, what's the timestamp that you got right now?
11:15.
11:15, right there.
But yeah,
okay.
So they come moseying up to the Razor Crest while Mando is doing. It looks like he's doing some quick repairs, or maybe like
maybe some maintenance.
Some final checks on it. I think he's repairs.
Yeah.
Before taking off again, just tuning up. Getting some tuning up on the Razor Crest done.
Yeah.
And these two are they're trying to hire him to get the Raiders to leave their village alone.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of funny though. Like, he doesn't even know how much they have, and he's just like, "Yeah, you don't have enough."
Yeah. Well, because he says we're krill farmers.
Yeah.
So I think automatically he's just like, oh, they're poor, like.
Oh, I guess he does see the bag in their hand of like the money they have, and he's like, yeah, not enough.
Yeah.
But he gets ready to leave, and they're just like, you can just look on their face. You're just like, well,
yeah. They're just kind of like, oh, shoot, and they start like going to walk away.
Yeah, and they kind of mentioned that they live in the middle of nowhere, which catches his attention.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, he's like, wait a second, I'm trying to find the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then he asks if if they've got lodging, and of course like, well, yeah, we'll find a place for you to to hang out. And so he's like, all right, deal. And so they start loading up all his weapons onto their little hover boat thing.
Yep. Get all of his stuff,
and he tells him to give him the credits, and that's when we see him return to
Cara, which I don't know if he. I think they introduced.
I don't think they introduced her name yet, but her name's Cara Dune, and in the captions or the caption just says Cara.
Yeah, I mean it keeps referring to her in the caption, so I just kind of figured. Yeah. But so then they're both heading that way. They're on the hoverboat, and they are both Cara and Mando have. They're like, all right, yeah, we're doing this. Yeah,
and they even mentioned too, like I think Mando says at worst. He says like at worst you tune up your blaster, like you use your blaster. At best we're a deterrent. So like their purpose is at worst to protect the village, at best to just intimidate the Raiders to leave the village alone.
Yeah.
But
they arrive. They arrive.
Yeah, it jumps forward, and, into the morning as they're pulling up to the village.
Mm-hmm. And all these kids come up to the boat and they start talking to the child and kind of like looking at him, and he's kind of the focus of their attention. And they unload and kind of be on their way.
Understandably, though, like especially for like us that have watched Star Wars, we've only seen 3 of this species in Star Wars. Yoda, Yaddle, and the child, and so like.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, you look at this, this village here, and it's like, I mean, they're probably. I mean, like, I guess there was some variation of species in that one tavern, but like this village may not have gone past their city limits, especially as a child,
Yeah, and I mean not just that though, but this village looks like a Native American village, back in 1700s. They've got they've got wicker houses, they've got I'm trying to think what they're called, like drying racks, I guess, made out of sticks. They have droids and they have what you would consider advanced technology for like compared to nowadays, but like it's still very primitive, even though they've got like some droids there and stuff like that.
Right.
But anyway, so like with us only seeing 3 of this species that, Yoda, Yaddle, and the child.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Yoda and Yaddle on Coruscant, the most populated planet in the galaxy. And we've only seen 2 of that species throughout everything we've seen on Coruscant.
Right. Hey, Evan, really quick. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Yoda and Yaddle.
Yoda and Yaddle who?
Wait, you can yodel? Anyway, sorry.
Boy, I'm going to go shoot myself now. Dang it, I missed.
I'll leave that one in. Usually your suicide jokes and your strange comments I keep out, but I'll keep that one in.
They're usually a lot worse than that.
Yeah, and that's why, because this one was rather mild. Anyway, go ahead. Moving along, yes. So
anyway,
I'm just gonna let you go.
In this village, Rona. In this village, these people have, I would say, like 99 out of 100 of them have never even left the village before.
Probably not. Exactly.
Let alone been to a spaceport on a less populated planet than Coruscant. Let alone been to Coruscant.
Yeah.
So like this is definitely their first time of seeing that species.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so all the villagers are start unloading the equipment that Mando brought, and
right. Yeah.
We see Miss Lady from the opening cutscenes kind of like setting up a place for Mando to stay.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of in one of those wicker huts.
Yeah. They call it a barn, but it looks like every other building in the village.
Yeah.
And she's kind of commenting like, I hope it's comfortable enough for you, and even apologizes for it being a barn. And then we see her daughter kind of like moseying her way over, and Mando like quickly jumps and turns around and scares the daughter.
Yeah. He turns around like he's about to draw on her.
Yeah.
And she runs away, and then they kind of introduce her stuff. She's not used to strangers and so forth.
Yeah, and so she kind of like walks up to him, or not yet. Sorry, it's a little later on. But kind of just like, I guess like a quick introduction is what is kind of like, hey, this is my daughter.
Yeah, they
like
share that.
Then it jumps forward again. This episode kind of jumps forward quite a bit more than other ones.
Yeah, that's true.
But the lady's name is Omara, by the way.
Yeah,
for those
which I don't think she said, but again, thanks to closed captioning.
Yeah. But she brings some food in for Mando. Her daughter's here is with her as well, and her daughter asks if she can feed the child like it's a pet.
Well, I mean, granted, the child is in a crib.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it looks like
what if
she's
he just ate her finger.
It looks like she's like feeding him like their equivalent of peanuts.
Well, I honestly thought it was a mushroom, and I was really hoping it was psychedelic, because I'm just picturing the child just going like freaking out. But
then she has to play, and of course, Mando's like, sure. And as they start going outside, you can see that Mando's like, wait, no, don't let him out of my sight. I gotta protect him. But then she's like, no, it's fine. They're okay. Quit worrying, you little worrywart, silly, sexy Mando man. But then she asks him how long it's been since he's taken his helmet off.
Yeah.
Okay,
listen, no. She said, how long has it been since you've taken that off? Like, come on. She's probably talking about his pants.
Well,
I mean, I would be. I'm just being stupid. Yeah, so.
But no, she asks how long it's been since he's taken his helmet off. And he's just like, yesterday. And she's like, no, like, in front of someone else. And he looks out at the children. He's like, I wasn't much older than they are.
Yeah.
And so, like, nobody has seen his face since he was, like, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get a little bit of a background on him from this here, that we learned that his parents were killed, and
right.
the Mandalorians took him in. And even then, it's still, like, we don't know his background anyways.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a brief insight into it.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting a little bit more of, like, his background, yeah.
And I mean, I don't remember if there's anything suggesting that he was a foundling in the first 3 episodes. I'm drawing a blank on that.
And then also,
but if there was, this just basically confirms that he was a foundling.
I like how he's like, I haven't taken it off since I was about their age. And then in the biggest window in the barn, he just takes his mask off, or his helmet off, and starts looking out it, you know? It's just like,
yeah.
I mean, isn't he...
But I think that's more of like, he's not concerned about someone seeing his face because they're all focused on the child out there.
So he sees it as so much of so low of a risk that it's like, whatever. And plus, I'm probably in the shade, like they can't see me very well anyway.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but it's also like, this is also, I can keep my eye on the child while eating. They're all going to be focused on the child, so they're not going to look over here anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, alrighty.
But then it cuts forward again. Because like I said, this cuts forward quite a bit to him and Kara doing some tracking out in the woods.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And, he says 15 or 20 of them came through this area on foot. And, we're just kind of seeing them do some tracking and whatnot as they're, I guess, locating the bandits' base.
Yeah.
Just so they can come up with like an attack plan.
Right, but then they notice, like, not only are there tracks on the ground, but there's branches broken that are, like, really high up in the tree.
Yeah, and then they see the giant footprint, and and Kara even says it's an ATST.
Yeah.
And Mando's, Imperial Walker, what's that doing here? Because, like, the Empire's been quote-unquote gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of odd that one would be out on this planet.
Yeah. And then it just cuts to, and I like how sudden it was. I think that's funny. It just cuts to Mando, and he's just talking to all the villagers, and he's just like, bad news, you guys can't live here anymore.
Yeah. Car's nice bedside manner.
Yeah, she's like, nice one.
But then they try to explain, too, that, like, yeah, we took the job, but that's before we knew about an ATST, a giant armored walking tank.
Yeah.
Like, the two of us cannot take on that.
Yeah.
The villagers, they're just complaining, like, we can't move, we can't just up and move. They're like, sure you can, it's a big planet. Like, just leave. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, and they're all like, but our grandparents built these ponds and, like, all this stuff. Like, no, we can't leave.
Yeah, your grandparents built these ponds. Congrats. They dug a hole, poured some water in it, and put some shrimp in it.
Well, I mean, really, I guess.
Go get some buckets and transport your shrimp somewhere else.
Yeah, haven't you idiots played Minecraft? Just do a 3-long thing of water, and you'll have an infinite water supply. Always take from the middle, and you're good. All right, you can just fill these things up.
Make a 2x2 cube, and you can just take from the corners. You're fine.
Or that, yeah,
like
depending
Minecraft
on your style.
Come on.
Personally, I go for a three long one. I think it's more compact. Stupid village people.
Yeah.
We're stupid.
But anyways, like, they're still complaining and whatnot, and yeah,
well,
so Mando and Cara are just like, yeah, there's only 2 of us. We can't stop by ourselves. And they're like, but there's like at least 20 of us here. You know, we can help
and they're
you.
like, yeah, they can learn, they can train, they can figure out. You know, they can help out. They can fight for their village. Well, and it goes along a little bit more. And Mando and Cara are talking to them and like, all right, listen, this thing is heavily armored, right? There's nothing you guys can damage its legs with. But we can develop a trap to where it steps into your ponds and sinks, like, to the level in which we can attack it. And so they start, like, digging out the bottom of the ponds as if it's super easy to do. Oh, sorry, grandparents.
It's so anyway, easy to do. You can't just do that somewhere else.
Yeah, really. But yeah, so they're developing, like, a trap for it.
And basically they're telling the villagers, like, me and Mando will take care of the walker. You guys just, you know, basically you guys just have to hold off the raiders while we take care of the walker.
Right.
And like you said, they're, you know, strategizing and building barricades and, you know, sharpening logs of wood to make like stakes and whatnot. And you know, we see them training, or it goes to one point when Mando asks, like, does anybody here know how to shoot?
Yeah. How many people raise their hand?
It's the one lady that we see in the very beginning, and nobody else.
Right.
So then it jumps, you know, we see them doing some target practice. Well, we see them all getting, like, guns being handed out, and some of them training with sharpened sticks. Mm-hmm. One of the guys is holding the stick backwards.
He's holding it wrong, yeah. Yeah, and then they're...
but basically, we just see them training. It just goes through some quick clips of them training. Right. As they're shooting, a lot of people are just missing, and then it goes to the lady, and she's just shooting the out of the pan, just like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, she's destroying the thing.
Yeah.
And she's pretty good.
Yeah, so we're just seeing them kind of getting ready and, you know, training. Mm-hmm. But then it kind of jumps. I don't know how far it jumps forward. I don't know if this is all taking place in one day or what.
Yeah.
But, you know, we see Mando talking to... I already forgot her name.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like, hey, you know, sun's about to set. We're heading off soon. You know, when we come back, you know, be ready because we're coming back and it's going to be hot. You know, like,
yeah, we're bringing, right behind like, us. We're going to kick the hornet's nest and they're going to be following us. Like,
not even kick the hornet's nest. It's like, we're going to go take a shotgun and shoot a hole in the hornet's nest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this isn't just going to be like a little swarm of hornets coming. They're all coming after us. But, you know, we see Mando and Cara come up to the bandit camp, and they're, you know, kind of taking out some of the sentries, and they sneak into the camp to, you know, make it go kaboom boom to get all the bandits' attention. And I'm not sure what the blue stuff is. It's obviously some sort of drink. I'm curious about that. I would assume some kind of alcohol.
That's my guess, but it's
but I'm not sure. But you know, we do see Mando put, I don't think it's a thermal detonator, but some sort of explosive device on one of the like support pillars in the like metal tent that they have, the bandits have. And, you know, some of the bandits come in. We see a little bit of a fight take place. Mm-hmm. And obviously Mando and Cara just kick the crap out of them. And then more come in because they heard the commotion, and some more fighting ensues. And it gets to the point where they're starting to just get overwhelmed by numbers. Because there's just so many bandits in there attacking them. But even then, they're still like kicking the crap out of a lot of them.
Yeah, they're putting up a good fight.
Yeah. And then one of them just gets drowned in whatever the blue liquid stuff is.
Yeah. The detonator starts, beeping a little bit faster, and
it keeps cutting to the detonator too, like just reminding us that it's there and that it's going to go off. Then we see Mando shoot some holes into like one of the walls to weaken it, and they just go jumping through before the detonator goes off.
Yeah.
And then it's, let's get the heck out of here. We gotta go.
Yeah, and I love this scene right here because you like the windows of the ATST as it's in the distance waking up, like obviously not waking up, but that's what it kind of you feel it doing. It's powering up and there's somebody getting in it to, man it. But like it's just like the windows are illuminated, so it's like you just see these eyes basically.
And it reminds me of those scenes from like Jurassic Park where the T-Rex comes like rising up out of the trees. That's what that's what it reminds me of.
What it reminds me of is kind of like one of those scenes where it's like in a movie, like a monster movie or whatever. It's like these people are like going along this rock wall or something, and they're just like, all right, I think we're good. And then like behind them, the rock like opens an eye and it's not a rock,
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of reminds me of this because it's like, all right, we're good. And then and it like opens up, gets up.
Then it cuts back to the villagers and they're starting to hear like noises off in the distance. And, we see the children, like, hiding in one of the barns. And Cara and Mando are just, like, running full tilt back to their barricade.
Oh, I mean, they're getting shot at. There's explosions everywhere, so they're taking them running,
Yeah. And, they get back, and it's just kind of like they're sitting there for a minute because, like, nothing's happening. But you still hear the ATST, like, marching forward. But it's still, like, concealed in the trees.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, looking around like, where's it at? Where's it at? What's going on? And then we get those illuminated windows.
Yep.
As it comes marching forward. And it just happens to stop right before the trap they had set. And it's kind of funny though, because it looks like the ATST is like alive and it looks down. And it looks like it honestly looks like the ATST is like an actual like living thing,
like an animal.
Yeah, it's beast, like I don't want to step in there. I'm gonna wait right here. But obviously, it's just the pilots in the ATST.
Right. But yeah, it for sure gets this like feeling of this is alive.
Yeah, it just like I said, it just reminds me of like Jurassic Park with the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Then they kick on the flashlight on it and. All the villagers are like ducking down behind the barricade and hiding. And then it just starts opening fire.
Yeah. Starts destroying some houses and all this stuff.
I don't know how I feel about it, but throughout this, like the next 10 minutes here of this fight, it moves its legs, but doesn't go anywhere. So it's kind of like that, almost like a stumbling creature that's regaining its balance.
Yeah, or more so really just shifting weight, just pivoting back and forth. It's like a fidgety kind of thing.
I guess I don't understand the need for the ATST to have to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it being a machine, and it would have like a gyroid to help keep its balance and whatnot, and all the mechanics that would go into it.
I don't know.
Maybe that's just me, but
no, I agree because it's like if it was alive, it would be doing that. It's kind of like this fidgety shifting of weight, but like because it's a machine, it's just I feel like they were trying to make it seem alive, and they kind of went a little more above like than I would say would be good, but. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's whatever, I guess. But
I guess I understand it doing it every once in a while, but I just feel like in this fight that happens here, that just does a little too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyways, the bandits come running out, and the villagers open fire on the bandits as they're charging. We see Mando shooting his rifle and just disintegrating them every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mando and Cara are trying to figure out how they can get the ATST to, step forward.
Right.
To step into their trap. And, Cara just kind of, like, improvises, last second, gets Mando's pulse rifle and charges forward while Mando's covering her. Just trying to do something to get it to move forward.
Mm-hmm. She's like, she jumped into the water and she's shooting at it and trying to aggravate it or to get it to look around to the point where, it steps forward and into the water. Which its foot's like right on the edge as it's shooting still.
Because like once she gets in that like little pond and shoots at it, it even steps forward like one step, which I guess again just gives me that feel of like they're just trying to make it seem too alive. You know, because as a machine, all it would have to do is pivot the guns down a little bit instead of stepping forward. But I don't know. It's not like it's that big of a deal. Because like I've said before, like nothing in the show bothers me at all. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to sit here and say it's like the perfect show. You know, there's still little things that are like, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that just makes it like unbearable. It's nothing that I would be like, there's no need to have that in there.
And she actually lands a shot into the window, and it wobbles enough that it finally falls in.
Yeah. And so like that that makes sense. Like that 100% makes sense. Like a blast just came in through the window and made a small explosion inside of the cockpit of the machine. And so like the pilots would obviously like freak out a little bit, maybe hit a control, that makes sense 100% to me.
Yeah. Then Mando just runs up, tosses just a grenade into the window and takes off, and the whole thing blows up.
Yeah. But between those events happening too, it does give us some like short, I guess, clips of the villagers fighting the bandits, the
raiders, or bandits, whatever.
And at some points we see the bandits just like getting killed, and at some points we see them kind of kicking the crap out of the villagers. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's kind of like we don't know who's gonna win, and then like you said, it goes to Mando blowing up the ATST. Yeah. And with the ATST being destroyed, like the bandits are like, "Oh crap, we gotta get out of here." Mm-hmm. And they all flee. And I said 10 minutes, but that was like a 3-minute little fight.
Yeah. But and then so they take off, the fight's over, and it transitions into the next scene where we see the child stalking the frog.
Getting dirty old little frog.
And he catches him. He gets him. And all the kids are like watching him do this, and they're like kind of like, oh yeah, he caught him, and then he starts eating it, and they're just like, oh god.
Oh no, grody.
Yeah.
He just
and then he drops it though. Yeah, he spits it out. He's like, oh fine. But then this little one-eyed frog just continues to go around. Yeah. He's free. He's free.
We see Mando and Cara just sitting there relaxing, and whatever her name is, just kind of said, mentioned to Amanda, like, I can set something up in the house for you, because, like, understanding, his traditions, his way of life, and he's like, maybe later, but thanks. Yeah. And Cara even questions, like, so what happens if you take that thing off? Do they come and kill you, or what? And he's like, no, you just can never put it back on again. Yeah. And Cara's just like, really? You just can't put it on again? You could take that thing off and be with that hot young widow over there?
Yeah.
And even that Mando even says though, like, we raised hell here like I think he said 3 weeks ago or a couple weeks back. So it's been several weeks since that fight, and they've just been kind of hanging out there in the village. And at this point, Mando's kind of debating whether he's going to leave him here, and then comes to a decision. That he's just like, I'm going to leave the kid here. He'd be happier here. Going around the galaxy with me is no life for a kid. Got to do right by him at least. Like make sure he's happy. Yeah.
But he's saying, he'll get over it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, like, I guess, But I kind of forgot about this. This new scene now. You see somebody tracking him.
Yeah.
So somebody did find that He found him. And
found,
he's on
found
that
the
planet.
And it's one of those weird dudes. 'Cause I think you see him briefly, or a character similar to him briefly in A New Hope. Where he's got like the weird tube thing coming off from like a mask that he's wearing.
Yeah.
I think you see someone with a similar like outfit in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not entirely sure if that's like a different species or what exactly. I don't know what those are, honestly.
I'm not sure either.
But then we see Mando talking to whatever her name is.
Yeah, he's talking to.
And she's saying like, we want you to stay here. We're all grateful. You can put your stuff packed away. We can pull out again if we need to, like later on in life. He'd be happy here. That's talking about the child.
Yeah, he could actually be a child, she says. And he says, yeah, it would be nice. And she tries to take off his helmet.
Yeah. And
to where,
I don't know if he was kind of debating of whether or not he wanted to stay or not. And right there, he just came to a decision or what. But it's kind of like the feel I got. Just kind of like, because he let her start to raise it, and then he stopped her.
Yeah, he
so it just kind of gave me, kind of gave me that feel of like he wasn't sure if he wanted to stay there or not, and right there he just came to the decision that he wouldn't.
And meanwhile, we see this other bounty hunter just zooming in his scope on the child's head.
Yeah, and then we hear a blast as it jumps back to Mando and the lady.
Yeah. And it shows Kara up behind that sniper. Shot him in
the back. And that's when, Mando flips the body over and sees the tracking fob.
Yeah, sees the tracking fob. Notices, yep, there's...
And, Kara's like, who are they tracking? He's like, well, who's that tracking fob for? And he's like, it's for the child. And, at that point, they both realize that, he can't leave the child there because it's just going to be more bounty hunters coming after the child.
Right.
And so, we see then Mando packing up, all of his supplies, and some of the villagers are giving him food as he's getting ready to head back to the Razor Crest.
Mm-hmm.
And Kara asked if he wants an escort back to town. He's like, I appreciate the offer and whatnot, but I'm just gonna go back to my ship, not go through the town.
Yeah.
Then they just kind of like do like a clasp hands, not even like a handshake, kind of like a mutual respect for each other. Like, hey, we're buddies now.
Yeah, and then the kids are saying goodbye to the child, and the lady who's like, I think, fallen in love with him prematurely is saying goodbye. And but it's just like everybody's saying goodbye. Yeah, it's a farewell scene,
And
he's getting ready to head out, and they're all saying goodbye.
For people that might not be like paying as much attention, it's just like, yeah, he's been here for one episode, what the heck? But you got to remember, like, it's been almost a month.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
Yes,
because
they've been
like
around the townspeople for almost a month now. It's some bonds have been formed there.
Yeah, and I mean, not even like when you're looking back at between the battle, before the battle, it's like they had probably a couple of days of training.
Yeah,
and it's like, so there's probably a week there, and then they said 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks back when they're referring to the battle after. But anyway, the episode ends with the child and Mando just going on down their path, heading towards the Razor Crest.
Indeed.
And to leave that planet. But yeah, I gotta say, Evan, I think I like my note-taking version better than just watching through the episode.
Oh yeah?
I think I like it. Yeah, I think I'll go back to trying to take notes, but it kind of sucks because that requires extra work. But because then if I have questions, I have time to either research them or make note of I'm going to ask these.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have extra time to research into stuff and think of more stuff. But anyway, you got any comments to add before we close?
Just a reminder, every 1,000 downloads is a blooper reel. Every 100 comments is going to be a live stream.
Of course, yeah.
Review over an episode, which, we're still only at, not even 10 comments, so...
Yeah, we're at 8. I did check.
Like we've said in the past, that's on you guys if you guys want us to do, a live stream episode coverage, where you guys can send in questions and whatnot.
Yep.
That's 100% on you guys, the listeners,
right,
to be leaving those comments.
Yep.
But blooper reel number 3 has been up for a while now, so if anybody has not checked that out, go check it out. We do have, as Jacob said at the beginning of the episode, the Facebook page for those that want to join that. We've got the Discord. We've got the email yourinDepth@gmail.com.
Yes. Yep. yourinDepth@gmail.com.
So, there's several ways for you guys to get a hold of us if you have any questions or, any comments. Well, I guess leave the comments in, Podbean or Apple Podcasts or however you listen to it. But any questions you might have, you can leave those in the comments as well. Or you can, ask through the email or Discord.
Correct. Yep. There is all of that. And, if you want to see more of what we're kind of doing, want to hear more of us, Evan, you've got YouTube, correct?
Indeed.
And that is, what is your name?
Future Instinct on the YouTube.
You do various live streams. You play video games. That's pretty well what you do. I am also on YouTube at Rude, Crude, and Socially Unacceptable, to where I do the exact same thing. And then actually also now, if you guys are looking for more podcasts, I have another one called Down the Road, where I just share random stories and stuff like that with my buddy Alex. But that's where we can be found. Evan, I gotta have you on that other podcast. We should have you as a guest.
Well, hey, that's up to you, but I am taking absolutely zero responsibility for anything I say.
It's okay. I just probably would have. You know what's funny, by the way, with this? I realize the difference in the editing work between me and Alex's and you are a burden. I'm kidding. But really, there is so much of a difference. I straight up, you should see, okay, so really quick. I'm just going to refer to it.
Oh, it can't be that bad.
Evan. All right. Look at this. So I have episode 4 of Down the Road. 16:15. Something questionable said. 21:18. Somebody's last name we didn't want to include in there. That is it. The Mandalorian, Season 1, Chapter 4. Video timestamps. 4:20 or so. Brutal Eevee verbal abuse. 8:35. Evan's cactus in the butt comment. 12:33. Another Kylo Ren complaint. Profanity. Audio timestamp. Intro at 8:30. 9:10. So literally not even a minute later. Blooper. Suicide joke. 14:30. Hard resting face. 17:20, which I'll give you that one. That one was me. But 17:20. F word. 26:20. Hot A F word.
Come on, leave it in.
45. Just a bunch of stuff, dude.
I'm sorry, it's just the way I talk, man.
No, you're fine. I'm not asking you to suppress that. I'm just saying there's more editing work.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyway, so whatever. But
that concludes this episode on Your In Depth.
You up?
Till next time, Bizaomi.
Goodbye. Go check us out on other stuff. Get in contact. Have a good week. And prolonged, probably a couple weeks before we record another one. Either way.
No.
Deuces!